welcome to the Vibrant Health Podcast with your hosts, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza. Lydia is a nutritional therapist and founder of Divine Health from the Inside Out. Jessica is a real food wellness educator and founder of the website, DeliciousObsessions.com. Since this is a health-related podcast, it should be noted that the hosts are not licensed medical professionals. The information and advice provided in this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any illness or health issue and should not be construed as medical advice. And now, here are the hosts of Vibrant Health Podcast, Lydia Shatney and Jessica Espinoza.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode number 13 of the Vibrant Health Podcast. I am Jessica from DeliciousObsessions.com, and I am here with my co-host, Lydia of Divine Health from the InsideOut.com. And today we're going to be talking about eczema. Lydia is here to actually share her story. She has a great story of healing both herself and her son's eczema. And since this is such a common skin condition today, I know that everybody is going to love hearing her story and also learning some things that you can implement into your own life to perhaps start healing your own eczema, or if you've got a family member that suffers from eczema, we'll have some good takeaways for you today. So Lydia, welcome, and let's dive right in.
Hey there, everyone. I am so happy to talk about this because I really want to infuse the world with hope that this annoying health condition can improve and even disappear. So I'd like to just share my own personal story, and it goes back to 16 years ago. I've been dealing with this, and it was after I had my first son. There were a lot of issues, with his birth. I won't go into that, but after he was born, I ended up with this horrible itching, rashy, oozing, ridiculous skin irritation on my hands, and it just got worse, and it kind of rose up my arm a bit, and my whole hand was just inflamed and raw and itchy, and it was almost like reddish purple in color. And I just didn't know why. At the time, I wasn't quite as up on understanding the body and health and natural means at the time. So I just kind of dealt with it, tried a lot of skin creams and things. My mom told me when, it was flaring up that she had it after she had babies too. So part of me is like, well, this is just part of what, this is what to expect, right? So, because my mom had it and my aunt also did. So I kind of resigned myself to all right, well, maybe it'll just go away because, hers just went away is what she said at one point. But, when you're dealing with something like that, it's kind of frustrating because it's really horrible. Some people's eczema can be mild and just annoying because it's not attractive. And some people's can be so bad that it impairs their sleep and their function. And mine was that. It would wake me up in the night. It hurt. It itched so bad that I had to, rub my hands so hard, and then they would bleed. If you didn't have this, you wouldn't understand. People would be like, stop, don't itch it, stop, don't rub it, stop. And I'm like, you don't understand. I can't help it. It was that bad. It's almost like you want to rub your hand off. It just hurts so much. So it was pretty severe. I tried numerous skin creams, hand creams, lotions, you name it, all the commercial ones. I went to a dermatologist, all the whole rigmarole. Nobody had any answers for me. It came and went over the years as I had more babies, so it kind of would go into remission at times, especially when I was pregnant. And it would flare up the most during seasons of stress, and that's when it was the worst. So I started to make connections more as, the years went on, and I found things that would help, but anytime I had a season of severe stress, it would flare so bad that there were times I would just, could someone just cut my hand off? Seriously, it would be better. It was awful.
Wow.
So as I, learned and I, went through my training at NTA, I started to be able to kind of make some connections. I started making more connections to gut health. But it really took kind of healing from the inside out at a deep level, not just in the gut, but, supporting the stress in my body. I've been a single mom for a long time and just had a lot of stress. Plus, you've got to consider your liver and the ability to deal with toxins in this world and just so many things. And so I started really finding ways to get improvement, but nothing made it go away permanently. And last year when I started doing the HTMA is when it totally turned around for the better, and I haven't had any flares like I used to. Occasionally I'll have like a little bit of dryness this summer from being out in the garden, but nothing even remotely. Like my hands actually looked normal for the first time. And when, last year when things started getting better, and I just thought, wow, like I have normal looking hands. Like they used to look like a decrepit old lady hands. Like they were so just like dry and just wrinkly and just cracked and really ugly. And there were even times I'd be out in public and my kids would be embarrassed. Like they'd be like, Mom, put your hand in your pocket. Like it was so ugly.
That's terrible.
I know it.
So
Well, they
sorry.
don't know any better.
Right.
So I want to kind of go there because I know this is what happens, and people. It's a very intense thing, and it's very emotional, and especially with the moms who have kids with eczema as well. So thankfully mine is under control. I think I still have some healing to do because it just kind of had a little bit of a small, minor flare this summer. But no, I'm not itching, I'm not scratching, I'm not bleeding, I don't have any open areas. It's just dry and a little itchy. So that's kind of the most that I got this summer, but after about a year of being completely cleared up. So maybe my summer was a little more stressful than I realized. But
I'm sure it
was. So, and it wasn't even just any one thing, I don't think. I think it was just more of a healing the body from the inside out through a deeper understanding of what my body needed. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of where things really made a major shift. So it's been a good year of recovery for that.
Yeah, I've never dealt with eczema myself. I've had some minor skin irritation, mostly on my legs over the years, especially when I was working in the restaurant a really, really long time ago, and I realized that it was the detergent that they were using to wash our uniforms when I was working in the kitchen, and I actually started bringing my uniforms home and washing them myself rather than using their laundry service, and the issues cleared up. But one of my friends for many, many years had really severe eczema on her hands, just like yours. And I remember, they would get cracked, and she worked in the restaurant with me, actually. And I remember they'd be cracked, and it'd be really hard. She was a server, and, it'd be really embarrassing when she'd have a flare-up, because how is she supposed to serve people food when her hands look like that, So she would end up wearing gloves. She would, lather it up with lotion and put gloves on, and that's how she had to work when she had those flare-ups, and it was just horrible for her. And so I can relate as being a bystander and a friend and seeing her go through that, so I can kind of relate to you there. I have never had to deal with it myself, but it's so common. I mean, I see people, I get questions on my site about it, about how do I heal eczema, or my kid has eczema, do you have any suggestions, and that kind of thing. So this is definitely going to be helpful for people.
Right. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I used to wait tables a long time ago, work in restaurants, and I had that very thing. Like, I'm handing someone a plate of food, and I got this gnarly looking hand. Like, that's less than appetizing, obviously.
Right.
So that was a problem too. It was going to a wedding in a nice dress, and then everyone's got their nails done, and you've got this one hand that You know, people notice. They just notice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, you know, personally, like, I don't really care too much what people think, but I do know it does make it awkward, you know, like you can feel this, like, weird, what is wrong with her? Does she have, like, what's that disease they used to have a long time ago where their hand, like, their skin would turn white or whatever?
Leprosy.
Leprosy, yeah. So, but no, it was bad. And like you said, removing detergents, I mean, for some people, you know, just doing the simple cleanup of getting toxic cleaning products out and using more holistic natural ones without the harsh ingredients will really go a long way to improving a skin condition. But that's not the case for everyone, you know.
Right.
So it's definitely something to deal with for sure to help, but it, you know, it may not be the only issue. I mean, I even couldn't wash dishes. It was so bad that even when I would wash dishes, like there was no solution. Like I couldn't wear gloves that would make them itch too bad, even if the gloves were like completely non-toxic, cotton, organic, whatever. It didn't matter. So I would opt for just trying to do it quick in the water with some big, long, like scrubby thing and not get my hand in the water or near the soap. When I'd shower, I couldn't even put my hand, the one hand. I had it on both, but the right hand was horrible. The left hand was just a minor irritation. So I would take a shower, and I'd have to hold my right hand, and I'm not kidding you, I had to do this for a long time. I would have to keep my hand out of the water stream. I would wash with one hand. It was ridiculous. Wow. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I'm a healthcare practitioner. I don't even know how to take care of this myself. Like, it was bleak.
Right.
And so I was really grateful when, you know, the hair analysis came up because I could dig in deeper and really start to heal my body at a deeper level. And I think one of the key things probably was that I realized my body was a lot more stressed out than I had thought. And I allowed myself a lot more rest and a lot more self-care and gave myself a lot more liver support. And I think that's what really, you know, the combination of things really helped to bring correction to the issue. But I couldn't do chores. I couldn't clean the house. I couldn't do yard work. I was very limited, and it was very frustrating, and I couldn't afford to hire anyone else to do it.
Right.
So it was pretty bad. It was a debilitating enough thing that, you know, to see it resolve like this is pretty massively, you know, life-changing.
Absolutely. It's amazing. So you had mentioned that your son also had eczema, right?
Correct. I have 4 boys, and my youngest one had some eczema. It kind of was sporadic over the years. It kind of came and went, but he had it on his legs. He would have it in the creases of his knees and arms, like where his elbows are, and on his wrist, and then he had some patches on his forearm. And when he was little, he had a pretty bad flare. He also had a kind of a serious health incident, ended up dehydrated, and, you know, I had spent months after that kind of reviving him back to health. And the skin was a big problem because he was little and he didn't know how to deal with it. He would itch it and stuff. And at that time, at least I knew, at least we were, you know, completely non-toxic products. You know, we had a lot of that figured out, but not much was really making it go away. Right. Even the diet, even when I cleaned up his diet, like even when I was really strict with keeping things out, it didn't go away. I mean, it would improve, like it wouldn't flare, but it wasn't the answer. So for him, I started mineral balancing as well, and I noticed his skin started to clear up and get better, and he'd still have these little patches, and they weren't horrible anymore. And that was, you know, probably a few months into his starting with the hair analysis. But it wasn't until I added a specific probiotic for him that it literally just went away in 10 days. Totally gone, hasn't come back, and he's even been given, you know, junky food, not by me, but, you know, and still nothing, like he hasn't had any flare-ups. And
Wow.
so it's been probably a good 9 months or more where he's been completely free. Like his skin actually looks good. Like it looks new and fresh, and there's no spots or blemishes. So that was really encouraging to see after years and years of trying things and worrying. And, you know, I had sent him to school with special soap because, you know, they would give them these sanitizers and make them wash their hands and, you know, all these different things. And I was like, finally, like, can I just send him his own soap, because he comes home and his hands are redder and irritated from all this stuff at school, and that's a hassle too, you know, because then you have to involve the staff, and it just becomes this big, like, oh my gosh, I'm that annoying mom. You know what I mean? And so thankfully, you know, once he got on the protocol and the probiotic, it just dealt with itself. So I'm so grateful to have been able to dig in a little deeper and kind of get to the root of things through kind of, you know, supporting the body as a whole, you know. But it just took a long time to get there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm not in contact with that friend anymore, so I don't know if she ever got it resolved, but, you know, I know she was getting tested for allergies and stuff like that, allergens, and so she had all of that stuff done, and I don't know if she ever was able to resolve it completely, but I know, you know, it kind of varies from person to person. Like in my case, I don't even know if it was eczema. I mean, it probably was. It would be really patchy and super red, and I always got it on my thighs, especially my inner thighs, and it would itch and burn, and but it really was just using my own, you know, green and non-toxic laundry detergent, and that, you know, cleared it up for me. So thankfully I haven't had any other flare-ups once I, you know, recognized that was the issue. So I know the sources of it really can kind of vary from people, but at least this gives people some ideas of that there's hope. Like, I know sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it doesn't seem like there's any hope that you'll ever be rid of it. It's just something you've got to live with for the rest of your life.
Correct. So. And it is becoming more common, especially with children. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And what I'm finding, and since I deal with people who are trying to improve their health, and I get a lot of clients and emails and things like that. People are going and trying to get this diagnosed, whatever the skin issue is that they have. They're trying to get it diagnosed by a doctor. And then the answer is some kind of a steroid cream. Well, we don't really want to do that any length of time. You know, put steroid cream on the body, because then you're kind of adding to it in a way, or to your health in a negative way. And it's not dealing with the root of the problem. It's just kind of like putting a Band-Aid on. Now, at times, it is necessary, because if it works and you get the relief from it, then by all means, it's better than dealing with constantly. But, long term, that's just not the answer. You know what I mean? So I feel like, the medical community hasn't figured this out, unfortunately. Maybe some of them have. I don't know. I just haven't heard that from any angle. I have a lot of moms with babies, and they're just very frustrated. They don't want to put these heavy steroid creams on their babies. And it's a very big deal, and it's becoming more common. So I'd like to be able to give people some basic guidance and hope that it's possible to bring some correction to this specific issue, but it could take more for others to really root it out than some,
Right. Yeah, we are all so different. So what are the main takeaways then, after talking about your healing journey? What are some takeaways for our listeners, things that they can maybe start thinking about right now and maybe start implementing?
Well, the first thing to do would be to clean up your diet, because, anyone alive today could stand to do that. Now, it doesn't necessarily always work for everyone to relieve the issue, like you heard in my case. But some people actually can clear up a skin condition simply from changing their diet. I've heard that happen before. Mm-hmm. So you want to source whole foods, real foods, food without a label, food that your great-grandparents would know what the heck it is. Not these packaged foods that have 20 things on the label and half of them you don't know what they are. So real food, quality real food. And, Jessica and I both on our site have, educated people on what that really is. So the best quality food you can do at the time, and just always be focusing on doing the best you can. Minimizing things like sugar, because sometimes the skin conditions can be related to Candida, and Candida is opportunistic, so if you're going to have too much sugar in your diet, you're going to potentially flare it up. There was a point in time where if I literally touched a speck of sugar or fruit, my hand would flare up bad.
Wow.
Just horrible. And it was not worth it. So I literally just could not, I couldn't even eat a piece of cantaloupe. You know what I mean? Which people would think is, oh, but cantaloupe's healthy. Well, no, my body couldn't handle it at the time. So, and I'm not interested in some radical Candida diet fixing, your Candida problem. I don't believe that's the answer either. However, there's times when people really may need to kind of clean things up for a bit, and it could bring things under better control. But there's probably going to be more work that needs to be done. But that's a biggie. So eat clean, real food, best quality you can, the least amount of sugar possible. If you can go for non-GMO, that's going to be a biggie too. We want to avoid the glyphosate and pesticides and all that stuff too, because that's a player, unfortunately. So, so if you spend a lot of time already cleaning up your diet, you want to spend some time cleaning out your home and making your home environment non-toxic. So looking at everything you put on your skin, all your skincare products, all your cleaning products, everything you wash your clothes with, your dishes with, that kind of stuff. Some people are far more sensitive than others, so, but go, do the best you can to clean up your own personal home environment and make sure you're not putting things on your skin that are adding to it. Water filters, if you can get them, you want to get things out of your water that could be affecting your skin as well, and water is probably one of the big biggies.
Yes, the chlorine is a big thing. I finally got a chlorine filter for my shower head, and I noticed that the dry skin, I've always had some dry skin. During the winter, it gets a little bit worse. We're in Colorado, and we have 0% humidity, so dry skin is super common here. And I noticed a big difference once I installed the chlorine filter with minimizing dry skin. So definitely, that's a huge one. I hadn't even thought about that.
Right. Yeah, at bare minimum, you want a chlorine filter on your shower, Mm-hmm. And they're not that expensive. It's, the whole house water filtration. Not everyone can do that, but, eventually if you can, great. But in the meantime, you want to get your drinking water filtered and a shower head at the bare minimum. So, that's pretty important because, water's a biggie. We drink water, we need it, and then we put it on us too.
Right.
We bathe in it. So, and we wash our hands in it and stuff. So that's a big deal. And then the next thing I would say is evaluate your stress levels in your life. Where's your body at? And I honestly don't think people really take this very seriously. And I'm not saying that as a judgment, because I wasn't doing it as well as until I saw my hair test and realized, oh, wow, well, my body's exhausted. So everyone alive today could stand to slow down, take more time to focus on rest, relaxation, restorative activities versus the go, I got to exercise and do all my cardio, and I got to be in every activity for my kids and all this stuff. We are a very driven society, and truth be told, we have stressful lives. Mm-hmm. So, giving yourself an opportunity to take a step back and look at that piece of your life and really think about doing something about it. Because when you're under that stress, your adrenal health isn't going to improve. And you really do need strong adrenal glands to help kind of deal with this issue as well, believe it or not. Yeah, and part of that has to do with the minerals that are involved, quite frankly. So, I know not everyone's going to go out and get a hair analysis done, but, think about it at some point. If you can, it's going to help see what minerals are going on, because that's going to play into your skin health as well, your overall health and your adrenal health, and show you your stress levels, where your body's at.
Right.
So that would be a big one, but that one's something that can take some time. And then I would say gut health in general. So what does that look like? Well, that can be quite a process too. But for some people, just getting a really good quality probiotic could go a long way. And that would be a good place for anyone to start, for sure. There are so many probiotics out there on the market, and not all of them are quite as effective as we may believe they are. So, some people will try all kinds of probiotics and spend all this money and not get real results. I'm going to welcome people to email me on this one, because as a practitioner, I can only recommend this one one-on-one. We're not, the company has asked that we use it in that way. So I had the probiotic that helped my son and myself, and many of my clients actually. Have quite a number of people writing to me saying that their skin conditions are clearing up with this probiotic. So if you're in the market for just even trying one probiotic, giving it a shot, you can email me at divinehealthfromtheinsideout@gmail.com. I can give you some info there.
Awesome.
And then I guess, the fifth thing would be kind of a segue from the healing your gut piece would be, some kind of gentle detoxification or liver support, which I'm going to say gentle, because some people will go off the deep end and try to do all this crazy liver detox and make themselves feel worse. So, that's a tough one. I do have an entire post on that, actually, and we can maybe just leave a link for that, because it's got a lot of great information in one location. But everyone alive today could stand to support this piece of their health. The liver is trying so hard to keep us healthy, and we need to help it do a good job. So gentle detoxification, something everyone probably knows, something like an Epsom salts bath. I really like castor oil packs. They're very gentle. Maybe even just getting up in the morning and having some warm lemon water. There are some good basic supplements as well, things that can help your liver out. So that would be something to look at. Actually, that's one of the things I did for my son, too. I gave him a children's version of liver support in addition to his probiotic, and I think that played into it as well.
Awesome. Great tips. Those are things that people can easily start thinking about and maybe moving towards if they're ready to kind of tackle this issue. So I think this will be really helpful.
Right.
So do you have anything else you want to share with anybody?
Yeah, I just say hang in there, because there's a lot of pieces that may need to be addressed for your specific skin condition, and there can be a lot of things that have built up in your body to play into it. So you may want to find someone to work with and have them guide you, because, this can be really, improved greatly with a little more support. But it's not always a quick fix. I know there's a lot of moms out there with babies and little ones who have skin issues, and it's very frustrating to go through. I get a lot of moms who are panicked. They're kind of freaking out, and it's really stressful, and that's not going to help either. So hopefully this podcast will give you some outlook and maybe help you step back and say, okay, I'm going to tackle this and try to, not freak out too much. I get it, though. It's hard, but, it definitely will, be important to get in a good place about it and make some forward motion. So if you can tackle some of the things we talked about today on your own and get somewhere, great. If you're not getting somewhere on your own, you're welcome to contact me. Happy to help you out there if you need a coach, a practitioner helping you with that. That's something that I've got a number of people working on. And there's probably other people out there too. So, keep your eyes and ears peeled and open and hang in there with that, I guess. That's really all I can say at this time. It's, infuse some hope for people out there, right?
Right. No, it's definitely a journey. There are no quick fixes when it comes to healing your body. I wish there was, but there's not. So just be patient, be kind to yourself, take baby steps, do what you are capable of handling at the time, and things will improve. If you're making steps towards improvement, things will improve, but just be patient. So.
Right. We always want to keep heading towards health, not away from it. So
absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. But if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to let us know. You can reach us both on our sites. We have contact forms there where you can email us. If this information in today's podcast resonated with you and you know others who could benefit from it, we would love if you would share it. This information could, help a lot of people. So if you know someone that it could benefit, definitely share it. You can send them the link. We'd also love it if you can maybe leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher if you're listening to it over there. If you're on our sites or YouTube and listening to this podcast, we'll have links down below where you can leave a review. And your shares and your reviews of our podcast really help us reach more people with our message of health and wellness. So we really, really appreciate it. And lastly, if you're looking for more information on natural living, health and wellness, real food recipes, allergies, all that kind of stuff, make sure you check out our sites at deliciousobsessions.com. That's my site. And then you can reach Lydia at divinehealthfromtheinsideout.com. And we look forward to hearing from you. We want you guys to have a great day, and we'll be back again next week. Thanks for listening.